the St. Catherine Youth Council, and one of the other hosts is from UTANS. So I'm going to let the ladies go first. So let me read for Miss Brown first, and then I'll introduce Mr. Dunkley. So Chanel Brown, St. Catherine Parish Youth Council. Yes, thank you. Thank you for that correction. So Chanel Brown is a third-year dietetics and nutrition student currently enrolled at the University of Technology, Jamaica. She aspires to become a clinical dietitian, specializing in prenatal care nutrition. At her alma mater, the Immaculate Conception High School, she served as the president of the tutoring program and the Tourism Action Club. She also served as a prefect, as also was a member of many clubs, including Immaculate Conception Environmentalist, Sixth Form Association, Immaculate Conception Fitness Club, etc. Chanel Brown is the immediate past vice president, second VP of UTANS. And Ms. Brown spearheaded the initial launch of the UTANS mentorship program. And we nickname her now as our foreign relations officer. She currently serves as a team leader for the Kingston and St. Andrew and a youth advocate at With and For Girls Jamaica. She also volunteers at the E for Life Jamaica, where she helps to empower young Black women. She's a lover of all things nutrition and lives by the mantra, never give up, accept failures as a part of success. For with God, you can do anything. And our second host, we can save the applause for after. Our second host is Mr. Denton Dunkley. Mr. Denton Dunkley is a treasurer with the St. Catherine Parish Youth Council. Mr. Dunkley is also a student at the Jamaica Theological Seminary, where he's pursuing a Bachelor's of Arts degree in guidance and counseling. Mr. Dunkley is very much involved in youth advocacy, and he is the vice president of his youth department at the Gordon Penn Apostolic Church. Mr. Dunkley is a devout Christian, and he's a man of God, someone who loves all things health and wellness. And I think these two hosts are most fitting to be our host for this afternoon session. So with no further ado, I now hand over to the host, the hostess with the mostess, Mr. Dunkley and Miss Brown. Welcome to you all. Over to you guys. Now you can give your round of applause, guys.
I don't hear any round of applause, Can I have a round of applause for my co-host, Mr. Denton Dunkley? Good evening, everybody. Just as Alex said, my name is Chanel, and I will be one of your hosts for today. Denton, have anything you want to say?
Welcome, everyone. Welcome.
So again, welcome to day one of UTAN's Pinktober week of events for 2021. We meet here for our breast cancer. Wow, Denton, I like that shirt there. Anyways, so we meet here today for our breast cancer awareness forum, and we meet under the theme, Early Detection Saves Lives. Now, if you're excited for this week of events, I just want somebody to unmute their mic, send something in the chat so we can know someone excited for today and for the rest of the week. I know you're not. Yes. All right. I know Janelle is very excited. Michaela is excited. So nobody from the St. Catherine Parish Youth Council are excited for today? Denton.
Yeah,
You're
man,
not
the thing
excited?
is, man. Up.
All right. Denton?
All right, good evening, everyone. Again, welcome. So we're just doing something quick and fast at this time. You're going to let us know where you're from. If you're from UTANS, if you're from St. Catherine Parish Youth Council, or whatever youth council you're from, you're going to type it in the chat. Also, give us the parish that you're from. You know, Jamaica has, well, 14 to 15 parishes now. So I learned 14 in school, but now it's 15, right? A lot of changes. So where you're from, you can just type it in the chat. So I see St. Catherine. My team is here. All right. I don't see anybody from UTANS. UTANS, are you hiding?
Listen, UTANS,
right.
you have to show the St.
Kings.
Catherine Parish Youth Council that UTANS people always show up. UTANS people always show up and show out, you know.
All
Jenny
right.
is from UTANS, St. Catherine. Frederica is also from UTANS. Devinelle, Michaela, Dukan, Clarendon. Yes, Paige and Janielle. So we have a good representation, right, Denton?
Yes, we do.
I would say we have a good representation. Just as Alex said, we are here, the University of Technology Association of Nutrition and Dietetics students. We're partnering today with the St. Catherine Parish Youth Council. Did I get it right?
That's it.
All right. So we're partnering with them today for this amazing forum. And we have 3 amazing guests. I must apologize for the absence of Mrs. Kerry Weatherly. I know many of us may know her personally, but she is under the weather, and so she won't be able to make an appearance today. So I apologize on her behalf. Denton, we have any giveaways?
Yes, we do.
I feel like we can give them something. What do you say?
I check in the time.
A little bit too
man,
early?
always something now, you know.
All right. Where you have for giveaway?
Some people are saying it is too early.
But Mr. Jan, will say it's not too early. What you say, Jan? Jan said it's not too early.
It's never too early for a show of rain.
Jan said it's not too early. Who said too early? Who said it's not too early? Because I think it's a little too early to give away something.
But then again, the executives won't be a part of this giveaway, you know. So it's only for the guests.
Exactly. So I don't know how Johnny jump up, but it's not too early. Like she could get none. Jahil said it's not too early either. Mr. Clivoy said, run it, man. Sorry, Denton, you can run it. We could see if them can get something.
All right. So there's a question that I want to ask, and the first my host would have to look in the chat because I don't want anybody to say that we can't see. You know, bear some witness today that the first person who type the answer, the correct answer, this person will walk away with something special, right? I'm not going to tell you what it is as yet until after the show, all right? So let's go. So the question is, what is the theme for our Breast Cancer Awareness Forum today? What is the theme? Remember, executives from St. Catherine and UTANS, you're not supposed to answer, all right? So the first person, nobody private message anybody now and I give them the answer we know that this evening. All right.
Oh, Daniel Allen. Hush Devinel. Daniel Kim. Daniel never understand. Daniel don't understand the assignment. Daniel never understand the assignment.
So
okay, Daniel Allen.
Daniel, right?
Yeah.
So Daniel Allen just private message us, one of the hosts, and then we will, you know, give you what you truly deserve. All right, thank you. Back to you, Chanel.
Okay. All right. We have, as I said before, three amazing panelists this evening. We have Dr. Natalie Daly. We have, Mrs. Paulette Tapper and Mrs. Patricia Thompson. All right. So I'm gonna ask Denton, yes, Denton, I'm sorry, about Dr. Natalie Daly.
All right. So let's go at this time. All right. So Dr. Natalie Daly is a medical doctor for over 15 years. She graduated from the Superior Medical School, Santa Clara, Cuba in 2005, and then from the University of the West Indies Medical School in 2013. She is a devoted Christian and a mother of two beautiful children, Safara and Namari. I want to get the correct pronunciation.
Namari.
Namari. All right, thank you for that, doctor. Dr. Daly loves medicine, and she is a medical officer with the St. Catherine Health Department. She also loves to teach and to mentor young medical professionals. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring to you this afternoon, Dr. Natalie Daly. Please make her welcome with your virtual hand claps. Send it in the chat and let's go. All right. Welcome, Dr. Natalie Daly.
It's a pleasure. And I definitely can foresee that today, this evening will be beyond a success. Because the fact that we are here, it's already a push start in the right direction.
All right, so before our panelists come forward with their opening statements, I'm going to be introducing, I am going to be introducing Mrs. Patricia Thompson. So Mrs. Patricia Thompson is a registered nutritionist, and she is the executive director at Jamaica Island Nutrition Network. Patricia is qualified with degrees in general science, Masters of Science in Nutrition, a postgraduate diploma in management studies, and she has certifications in curriculum development, psychology, counseling, health promotion, all from the University of West Indies. As a school nutrition specialist from the United States of America in sports dietetics, and a master's sports nutritionist also from the United States of America. Patricia has worked as a registered nutritionist for over 40 years, and she teaches at the tertiary level, both in Trinidad and Jamaica, in community programs, private practice, and consulting. She has served as consultant to numerous clients in the public and private sectors in Jamaica, the Caribbean region, and internationally. She is a former nutrition educator with the Caribbean Food and Nutrition Institute, CFNI PAHO, and served as the health and nutrition specialist on the USAID-sponsored New Horizons project with the Ministry of Education. She's the author of several Caribbean nutrition texts used regionally, including the current text for Cape Food and Nutrition entitled Integrated Food and Nutrition Sciences, books 1 and 2. She's also a certified dietetics preceptor for graduates on professional practice, both locally and internationally, both the Bachelor of Science and the Masters of Science levels. She has received many awards for her work, including from the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics in the United States of America, the Caribbean Association of Nutritionists and Dietitians, CANDI, recognition by the IOC Committee and the Jamaica Sports Medicine Association, among others. Join me in welcoming Mrs. Patricia Thompson.
Hi, hello, I'm happy to be here. Good afternoon, good evening, actually, almost everyone. Right, I'm actually looking forward because this evening is the first time I heard your topic. So I knew it was on breast cancer, but I didn't know exactly what aspect of breast cancer. So I'm looking forward to the discussion and taking part in it. Thank you.
I'm going to now invite Ms. Lauren Taylor, and she is the secretary for the St. Catherine Parish Youth Council. I'm going to invite her to introduce our next panelist.
Hi, everyone. My name is Lauren Taylor, as you should have just heard, I will be today introducing Dr. Natalie Daly, who is a medical doctor and has been for over 15 years. She graduated from Superior Medical School, Santa Clara, Cuba in 2005. Hold on. Am I introducing the correct person?
You're introducing Mrs. Paulette Tapper. Okay.
Oh, I think I got the wrong.
That is fine. That is fine. I'm going to invite then Ms. Janelle Stevens. She is the second vice president of UTANS, and she'll be introducing Mrs. Paulette Tapper.
Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. So my task is to introduce Miss Paulette Tapper. Now, Paulette Davidson Tapper, a breast cancer survivor, is 50 years old. Her qualifications include a first-degree major in accounts and finance from the University College of the Caribbean, now called the University of the Commonwealth Caribbean, a master's in business administration from Florida International University, and a certified change management practitioner from PROSCI, if I'm correct. She has over 25 years experience in finance and administration in the private sector and is currently employed to Grace Kennedy Limited. She is a member of the FIU alumni, and her hobbies include traveling, taking part in corporate social activities, and going to the gym. She also has 2 children. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Mrs. Paulette Davidson Tapper. Give her a round of applause. Thank you.
Hi, afternoon, everyone. It is my pleasure to be here, to be a part of this forum and to share with you my experience and my journey throughout breast cancer. So thank you again for inviting me to this forum.
Thank you so much to our panelists for being here again today. So before I hand over to our panelists, we're going to go in the order of Dr. Daly, then Mrs. Patricia Thompson, and then Mrs. Tapper. We're going to go in that order for the opening statements. And I hope everybody have them paper and then pen, and you're ready to write and listen and just be interactive, ask as many questions as you can. So yeah, I hope we're all ready for this. We're handing over now to Dr. Natalie Daly.
Well, I was not aware that an opening statement was to be prepared. So I am freestyling it all. So guys, be gentle with me. Here goes. Definitely without a doubt, not as only from the frontier of being a doctor, but just being a woman. Early detection will always save life, and it not necessarily be mine. It can also be yours. And not to dive into the meat of it all, but just to skim the surface. We always have the notion that, why me? And I always ask the question, why not you? Why not? We have reached a frontier with breast cancer that even getting it, it does not mean it's the end of the world. I always tell my patients, it is the beginning of a new journey and one that can be overcome. I will hand back over.
I don't know if anybody got what you said. It is the beginning of a new journey, one that can be overcome. I like that. I don't know if anybody, Denton, how you feel about that? I like that. Because as she said, a lot of persons really think that this is the end of the world, but it doesn't have to be. All right, Mrs. Thompson.
Yes, actually, when I heard your topic just a couple of minutes ago about early detection being important, it threw my mind to that actress. Can't remember her name, but she's the one with the full lips, as everybody says that.
Angelina Jolie.
Right. She went into her genetic history and found out that she had a strong risk of getting breast cancer. And she therefore went ahead and cut off both breasts. This is a little bit extreme, but in health nowadays, we are advised to know our health genetics. As you know, you might know the term epigenetic nutrition, which hypothesizes that we inherit genes for these various chronic diseases from as early as our grandparents' generation. So we can therefore start to prepare ourselves to eat better, exercise better. The idea is that it will motivate you to a healthier lifestyle, not to take extreme measures like Angelina, you know? So that's as early as you can get, knowing your health genetics. But I would like to speak a little bit about breastfeeding, because I think this is the next early preventive stage that anybody can take. But I'm not going to take up too much time now, since I'm just introducing my topic. I will move on to the next person.
Wonderful. Thank you for that, Dr. Patricia Thompson. And your opening statement tied, even though you weren't prepared, it tied with the theme, early detection saves lives. Thank you so much for that. And now we'll have Miss Paulette Tapper,
Yes.
a breast cancer survivor, with her opening statement. Go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Denton. My journey started in October 2011. I'm not going to go into it totally, as I mean, if I should start, it's going to take up your entire hour and possible a couple hours after that. But it actually started in 2011 at the age of 40. And as I said, that's the time when we need to start to check. But my recommendation is that we start to check from earlier. As Dr. Daly said, we tend to ask ourselves the question, why me? Why me? And then back to Dr. Daly's statement, the next question I ask myself, why not me? Why not me? And it was a journey. It was a journey. But I must say, nutrition played a big part in taking me along. Support, family, friends, good friends, played a major part in taking me along this journey and allowing me to be where I am now, sitting here with you guys and being able to share my experience on what I went through for my breast cancer.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Tapper. One of the things, and guys, please don't forget, you can start sending in your questions or your comments. Yes. You can send those to the chat, or if you'd prefer, you can unmute when it is time. One of the things that I really like about this forum and just overall talking about breast cancer, I feel like it's just a way to show our support. I love the color pink and I will take any opportunity to wear pink. And so I just love that we can join as a group, as groups and as young people, and just support the persons who are affected by this, and just honoring those who unfortunately their battle, has ended with breast cancer. Again, don't forget to send in your questions. I have a question though. And if you know me, you know I love anything female reproductive system. So I want to direct my question to Mrs. Thompson. I heard her mention something about breastfeeding and the risks with breast cancer. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that, please?
Okay, well, I mean, in nutrition, you will learn a lot about breastfeeding, but you will be taught mostly the benefits of breast milk for the baby and how great breast milk is. Nobody, I think, has thought much about the vehicle of this breast milk, and that is the mother. the woman especially. And I think my experience is that while you are convinced that breast milk is the greatest, as a woman, are you really ready for this? You know, and I was not prepared. I keep telling people that as a child growing up, I never observed anybody breastfeeding, and people can't understand that. So it was something new to me. I was living in a foreign country without much support. Fortunately, I got onto what they call the Trinidad Informative Breastfeeding Service, where this was a group of committed women. And they were able to carry me through breastfeeding so that I was able to continue for an extended period. But the thing about it is, you know, people keep talking about breast milk as if to say it is just whooshing out of you. I'm sorry, I didn't have that experience. My breast milk came in very limited supply, right? So my breastfeeding experience was cut short. I had 3 children, I told you. I breastfed the first one for 10 months, the second one for only 6 months. He was a boy and rapidly growing, and that little foolish breast milk wasn't enough for him. He wanted actual food. But with the next one, who was a girl, she went for 8 months. And when I added that up, I got a total of 24 months of breastfeeding. And to my great joy, when I read a study which indicated that women who breastfeed for 24 months or more have a reduced risk of getting breast cancer, right? In fact, the ideal average is probably around 28 months, they said. So I had thought, well, I didn't breastfeed any of my children for 24 months and I started to get concerned. But they said accumulatively, and that rang a bell with me. So that was very good in terms of breastfeeding. I think it's a very motivational factor for women, especially if you know in your history, you might have that risk. So this is another risk that you can deal with in a very positive way. So that's what I want to say about breastfeeding.
If I may, studies have shown that 75% of females actually didn't have any risk factors. And when I read that literature, it was actually very shocking because we always believe, some people believe, I shouldn't use the word always, that, okay, my mother has breast cancer, and when we speak of it, should be, the literature says that it should be a first-line family member. And when I say first-line family member, we talk about your mother, your father, and somebody would say, father, yes, believe it or not, men can get breast cancer. When I was looking through the chat, I was like trying to count how many males were there. So this is not something that is just limited to female. So yes, we do have the first line family member, whether it's a mother, a father, a brother, or sister. Now we have what they deal as nulliparity. Somebody may ask, what is nulliparity? If you never had any children, you are at risk of getting breast cancer. All right, but somebody said, no, man, I don't have that. But then we have to flip the page. And they said, okay, you start your first menstrual period less than age 12 or 13, or you have a late menopause. So, and you may list out 1,000 risk factors, and believe it, right there and then, they do say that nutrition play an ideal role. Breastfeeding, yes, will reduce the factor of getting breast cancer, and you can't rule out genetics, but even to continue on nutrition, what you take in your body, because they refer to alcohol, the sugar, the refined sugar, the red meat, these are initial essential things that you can reduce, that will not in its totality eliminate the possibility, but the most important word is it will reduce the onset. If I may ask Ms. Tapple, with your permission,
Sure.
What did you have any risk factors?
No. No, I didn't.
And how was it detected?
I was actually in the shower. I was in the shower and I felt the lump, and actually I was out on vacation And when I felt the lump, at that point, my vacation just went dead. Because, right, went dead because it was an abnormal, unusual lump. So I started to think, what is this? Could it be the big C? And then I started to question. So at that point, my vacation just went out the door. And I came to Kingston and then went through the rudiments, couldn't wait. Went and got the check, did the biopsy, and of course it came back positive for breast cancer. Right, and that was in October 2011. And then everything just started to happen from there. The treatments, everything. So it was a journey. I think what they call it was either ER positive or HER, her HER positive. Mine was HER positive. So as a result, I had to be taking Herceptin along with the regular chemo, which of course Herceptin for me lasted about, I think I did about 20 something doses of Herceptin. So it took me approximately 2 years of treatment for this thing. 2 years of treatment. And as I'd mentioned before, the support was there and that was big for me. I mean, I had persons logging in their calendars when I need to go. I mean, I'm talking persons at work, persons at home, when I need to go for treatment, who's going to be taking me, who's going to be picking me up if I have to drive, who's going to be picking me up, taking me home, who's going to ensure that I have the meals, X, Y, and Z. So that support is very crucial. And as Dr. Thompson and yourself, Dr. Lee mentioned, nutrition plays a big part, especially when you're going through the treatment process. It is very important. You change at that point. Your change is not a matter of a choice. It's as if you have to, if you want to beat this thing, you have to change how you eat. You have to change what to eat. You have to change who you eat from. You have to prepare your own. You have to ensure that it is fresh. It is, all of these things, it is nothing that's gonna put down and sit down for an extended period of time. I mean, blended fruits, vegetable. I mean, it was just an entire shift just to ensure that you are strong enough to fight this virus. So, I mean, I can't forget, I was doing my master's actually when it was detected, and I was in my last year. So it detected in October. My graduation was May the next year. And I informed my administrators that this is the situation. They're saying, okay, Mrs. Tapper, we're gonna give you an opportunity to defer. So I tell them, no, as I've reached this far, I intend to finish. And they said, are you sure? I said, yes, I am sure. And I went through my chemos, went to class, went up for graduation, worked with my Neupogen because I had to be taking Neupogen at the time also. So I had to be, a doctor prescribed my Neupogen. She gave me my treatment like the day when I was gonna be leaving for graduation. She gave me my treatment the morning. I left Jamaica the afternoon with my Neupogen and everything, went up, here, walked down, did my ceremony, got my injection. My brother was there administering injection, everything. So in addition to you having the support system, you have to be willing to fight, not to give up, to push through. Just keep on saying to yourself, this is an obstacle in life and I'm going to overcome. This is an obstacle and I'm going to overcome. And from you keep on saying that, you just continue on that path and you will definitely overcome.
I was looking at the numbers and I realized we have 45 participants. And I'm going to assume at least 40 are female. I'm going to take that bold step. If I had to put that question out to the 40 that are female, how many of us have done our monthly? Because the theme of this panel is that early detection.
Yes.
So I'm going to ask, how many of us, I'm not asking going to do a mammogram or ultrasound, something that simply costs nothing. Do your self-examination every month. How many of us have not? I am not, I can be the start of the, put myself into the fire squad. I can tell you, I have not been doing my monthly. And it is sad because as Ms. Tapper said, that is how she found, she was just in the bathroom and she felt alone. She just simply felt alone. And it is easier, believe it or not, yes. I was taught that a mammogram can pick up a cancer as small as a sand grain.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how small a sand grain is? And a simple mammogram can pick it up. By the time your hands are able to palpate it, it is greater than 1 centimeter. Greater than 1 centimeter. So the take home here, we are the tomorrow. We have to start with self, and I am guilty of that, where we just simply while taking our bath. Let's put on that magnifying glass that we call our hands and start palpating, start touching.
Yeah, indeed, I would
Yes.
like to support Dr. Daly there. And by the way, I'm not a doctor, I'm just nutritionist Pat Thompson. And I'd like to introduce myself as nutritionist Pat Thompson because I believe in being proud of my title. So even if I were a doctor, I would still say Dr. Nutritionist Pat Thompson. And I'm encouraging students to do the same when it's their time. But I'm supporting Dr. Daly on being aware of your own body. In fact, I practice, I believe, what they call whole person health. I had linked up with a psychiatrist some years ago, Dr. Allen, some of you may know him. And he had been pushing through the church system whole person health. And I joined up with this thing and I learned it. But even before that, I'm very aware of my body. You know, you look in the mirror and you observe. Every day, you do your own self-exams to know what's happening. And I believe in healthy lifestyle and prevention. So while we are pushing nutrition, nutrition is not a standalone. It goes along with sleep. It goes along with exercise. It goes along with hygiene and everything else that makes up the whole person healthy, right? And just to show you how awareness is important. Some of you have seen my picture. You might see on above my lip here, a little red mark. Right, believe it or not, that was the beginning of shingles. And this was last week. And I'm understanding that shingles is worse than COVID. And according to my doctor, because I noticed my body, I noticed these pimples very early, and what I noticed about them was that when I touched them, they hurt, and I said, pimples not supposed to hurt. So I rush off to my doctor. I believe in catching things early. And he says, you know, Patricia, you came very early because that is the beginning of shingles. And if you waited 1 or 2 more, then he showed me the picture on the screen. He says, that is what your face would look like. Have you all ever seen shingles on the TV? No, well, you should take a look at it. No, I can't imagine my face looking like that, and it affects the nerves, and it's right up by the eye, and so I could actually go blind. But by observing myself and finding out early, I am able to take treatment. And then not only that, when I am over the shingles, because you get it if you have had chickenpox as a child, and I did have chickenpox as a child. And it also happens when your immune system gets compromised for a lot of stress. And believe me, I don't know about y'all, but this COVID period has been very stressful for me. All this lockdown. I'm hoping the Prime Minister will release us from the lockdown soon. But you have to observe your body and notice things about your body. And as I said, as Dr. Daly said, by examining your breasts, and the men can do this too. You know, and I want to emphasize here now about excess fat. right? I don't know about Mrs. Tapper, but it's not just overweight I'm talking about. You can be overweight and muscular, but excess fat. And you have to remember the breast is primarily fat tissue, right? There's not much muscle, if any, in the breast. The muscle is actually behind the breast. And young women worry about breastfeeding and that the breast is going to sag. There are 650 muscles in the body and all must be exercised, including muscles behind your breast. And as young people, I don't know about you, but when I went to high school, I went to a girls' school. They said they were training ladies, St. Andrew High School. I went at that time, you probably know my age, when they said they're training ladies. And in our physical education class, what they did, an exercise, you know, you put your hands across your chest, and I must improve my bust. Well, let me tell you, throughout breastfeeding, that was the best exercise. It exercises my breast, and I still do it because it strengthens the muscles to hold up the breast. So there's no sagging when you breastfeed. Right? As I said, that, you know, we forget to tell women about the benefits to themselves. It's not just to the baby, right? So not only that, when you breastfeed, remember the fat that you lay down, it goes into your breast, and that's fatty tissue. And that provides the energy that comes out in breast milk. So if you don't breastfeed, you are left with that excess fat in your breast. So by breastfeeding, you use up some of that excess fat, and the breast is prevented from sagging because you're doing your exercises to strengthen the muscles behind there. So that's very, very important for you young ladies to know. There are a lot of other exercises too, you know, as soon as you deliver, within 6 weeks of you delivering, you can start your exercise. I've always exercised. I believe in exercise. So while you're eating healthily to maintain your weight, you heard Mrs. Tapper talk about the quality of your diet. The quantity of your diet is very important. Because fruits are very nourishing, yes, but there are some people, you know, I have some patients who come to me and tell me about Mrs. Thompson in mango season. How can I eat less than 6 mangoes at a time? You know, there is discipline in eating. There's a lot about eating. It's not just knowledge. You know, it's eating habits, eating behaviors. You know, we put it all together and we get healthy lifestyle. So we have to keep down not just our weight, but our body fat. You know, viruses seem to like fat. Okay, so you have to keep down your body fat, and that includes your breast tissue, your belly. We got to exercise the belly, you know, do some abdominals and so on. Young ladies, do you exercise daily? Yes,
Well,
we
I
have to
can
make
say
them.
that I try to do it at least for 30 minutes per day.
Yes, you know, they're saying always that, just like with the breastfeeding, it's an accumulative effect. So if you can't manage a whole hour at one time, you might be able to manage 15 minutes now, 15 minutes. You understand what I'm saying? And it accumulates to an hour during the course of a day. So we need to get on with the exercising, and we need to take care of our bodies. We need to observe our bodies. Look in the mirror. You know, when I did psychology and counseling, you know, we were, so when you look in the mirror every day, you say, oh, you're so beautiful. Yeah, because self-esteem is all a part of healthy lifestyle, feeling good about yourself, your self-concept, right? So I will turn over now to the other ladies.
Before we continue, I just want to say good evening to our head of school, Dr. White Barrow. I know she's here. Good evening, Dr. Barrow. There's a question in the chat that I saw earlier. Just scroll for it. Scrolling. Please, guys, don't forget, you can unmute and ask your questions, or you can type in the chat. So Pears JP asked, what is the first sign of breast cancer, and what is Jamaica's recovery rate? That might be for Dr. Daly.
The first sign, as Ms. Tapper said, that lump, that miserable, unforgiving lump.
Yes.
It is noted that the lump tends to occur first and foremost, the breast can be divided into 4 sections. Not going to go too much into the anatomy of it all, but the lung tends to be primarily in the upper outer quadrant, 4 quadrants. So other than the lung, you may get a discharge from the nipple, whether it's bloody or serious. You may get edema, and what I mean by edema, it is like a swelling of the skin. You may get retraction of the nipple. And why we have that, what I mean by retraction, as the word define it, is the nipple being pulled in. So what happens is that lump rests on what we call the ligament of Cooper, and it pulls everything backward. And often do they describe the skin as the appearance of an orange skin. Do you see how the orange has that dimpling? Guys, I'm not hearing you. Come on, this we have, in order for us to be aware, you know, we have to know. So if you're not following, so imagine the skin of an orange. That is literally how the presentation can occur. But let us speak of it. Most persons tend not to have anything. They simply may not present with anything. And sometimes we find it on incidental detection. A young lady decided to do her routine mammogram, and that's there. The incidence. The next question was speaking of the incidence and the survival rate.
Right.
So we speak of the incidence of breast cancer. Note, it is the highest frequent cancer in women. And I will repeat it again. It's the most common. There enough, a plenty. I'm using all the jargons here. So the fact that it is so dominant in women, it is for more reason that we have to be aggressive, we have to be very vigilant. Up to 2007, they reported that for every 28 females, 28 in 100,000 women will be noted to have breast cancer. The last study was done 2017, 43 in every 100,000. You realize that it's going up. Why is it going up? There is a lot of hesitancy in doing mammogram. My main reason in practice, doc, it hurts. I don't know if any of you guys have heard your parent, your mother, your aunt, doc, I'm not doing it, it hurts. I said, okay, how do you know it hurts? My friend told me that it hurts. My rebuttal every time to this thing that my friend told me that it hurts. I said, your friend can stand here today and say that she's okay. Can you say that you're okay? I was always told, weeping endureth for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. Why is it increasing? Because when I said to my patients, you have to do a mammogram. The next question, how much does it cost? We need to be frank. Do anybody know where you can get a mammogram in the government center?
That's non-existent.
Huh?
I believe that is non-existent.
It is, to my thought, it is non-existent. I cannot tell you anywhere in Kingston and St. Catherine under the government branch that you can get a free mammogram. So now there's a set that is willing to do the mammogram, but because of affordability, we can't keep speaking of early detection if we don't implement the tools. I paid that loan. $3,000, I think at this point to do a mammogram, maybe $4,000. Some people go say, shut up, $4,000 and nothing. To each his own. It can be a mountain to others. That is there, that is everything to them. So for the step that I believe that we need to be more forceful about, it is not just simply getting up every month, palpating, and we feel that long. But now it's time for us to physically detect it. We should put instruments in every government. It is something simple that we can put. that allow these women to have something that we can detect it early, so that we can be, there can be many Paulette happens.
Yeah, I saw a comment a while ago about the putting policies in place, I think, to force us to do these early detections. You know, the concept of health promotion says that health is not just the responsibility of the government. It is a responsibility of every single person. Now, I don't know what happened along the line, but I don't know if my upbringing might have been different. But well, in my day, you didn't turn an adult till 21. And you were told that you take care of your body by doing all your annual screening. And your cervical test was one part of the screening. And when you went to the Cancer Society, the Cancer Society still functions, people. When you go there, they test your cervix. They examine your breast. In those days, they didn't have the mammogram. And we were told as young ladies that you go every single year. Nowadays, they're saying you can go every 2 years. We were told you go every single year. So for me, it was routine to go to the Cancer Society, to the Heart Foundation to get my screenings, you know. And if you didn't get all the blood tests at the Cancer Society, because they do blood sugar and blood cholesterol and hemoglobin and blood pressure, then, and you have the money, you can pay and go to the lab. You know, in fact, there are many years when I don't go to the doctor at all for the whole year, but he's going to see me for my annual medical, right? I go to the lab myself because as a nutritionist, I'm allowed to write up the request form for the lab as long as I put my doctor's name on it, right? And I not only pick up my own test results, the test results also go to him. So by the time I go to him, I've already looked at my test results and read and interpreted so that I can discuss with him the results of my blood test. So I am appealing to you all. The Cancer Society is there. It is very reasonable. Okay. And even if you say you can't afford a mammogram, once you go to do your cervical test, they are going to test your breast. And they'll show you how to examine your breast. This is how I learned how to examine my breast. It's at the Cancer Society, right? The mammogram indeed is a bit uncomfortable. It doesn't really pain, it's uncomfortable. Now that I would suggest, well, maybe you don't have to do that every year, but certainly you have to go as young ladies for your cervix and for your breast. Right? And then maybe every 2 years, you can do the mammogram. But early detection of everything is very important, and you have to go for your early screening, please. And your annual medical with your doctor, even if you don't feel sick.
A comment from Sharon Hamilton. So she said that, and maybe this is a myth or something someone can debunk. So she said, for the most part, the mammogram may not detect the cancer.
You can get a false positive or a false negative. And it all depends on the density of the breast. It all depends on the density, the fibrousness of the breast. As Ms. Thompson says, that the breast is mostly composed of fat, it's made up of fiber, glands, and so on. So we can get a negative test and the individual is positive. But I can promise you from the majority of the mammograms that I've seen, if there is a doubt on the radiographer, he always intends for them to do further studies. So they don't leave it there. If there is something suspicious, then they ask for additional tests. If that test in itself comes back not conclusive, then what the clinician tend to do is to do what we call a fine needle aspirate. What is, in simple terms, a biopsy. So there is something, it is suspicious. We can't say what it is. It could just be a cyst, but it's not conclusive. So to tend on the ear portion, they tend to just take a little sample and send it off to the lab. But in any case, in anything, you can get false positive or false negative. It is rare. Nothing in science is perfect. Nothing, it is not, nothing is 100%. Sometimes 1 + 1 can equal to 2 or can equal to 11. But most time, if it is positive, it is truly positive.
Quite a lot of information to, I'm here writing because I heard it's not only for females. I'm also writing down. I must confess, I got a little shaken when Dr. Daly said men as well, because it's the first time I've heard about men having breast cancer. So for the men who are here, you know, there was a question, a very important question by Mr. Jail Warren, and I was about to ask the same question. I was wondering if he was reading the question that I have in the book here. And the question is, what support can males offer to females during this process while they are going through, whether it be chemotherapy or what that whole process of breast cancer? What support can the male, if you have a wife that is going through, a mother, a sister, auntie, grandma, what support can we offer?
I mean, just being there, just be there. Just be there as that support, as that shoulder, because I can tell you, there are times when you just break down. You just break down and you just need that tower, that strength, that person to lean on. And it may not be a partner, but at least have somebody there to lean on when you're breaking down. That person is just there. You don't necessarily want them to say or do anything. You just want to have somebody there with you. So yes, from the male perspective, is just to be that person, be there when you need them, be there to, when you have, as I said, when you have your appointments, be there in the room, be there with the doctor, be there asking some of the questions, you know, at least show that, yes, you're into this, you know what is happening, you know what's the next step, you know what your partner needs to do, what not to do. So you're taking part in the recovery. I call it a recovery. You're taking part in the whole process. So it's not just you alone, it is us.
I like that. I like that pronoun that you use. So it's not a one man thing.
No, it's not.
All right. So in supporting, because we I must also say that some men are very emotional, right? More than females. So on a case of, for example, I don't even want to use one of my family members. I know somebody that is going through this process. And for me, for persons who know me, I am a crier sometimes, not all the times. So in that part where the person now is pouring, you know, it's an emotional process, of course, because I mean, it's cancer. And the conspiracies and the stigma that we heard that persons who have cancer, you know, it's either two things, either they live it to a certain stage or they die, right? How do the emotional part of the men, how do we try to adapt being still there for the females? I understand that we should be there, but I don't know if you're
there for you. Who is there for you? That's basically what you're asking.
No, not really. Not really. Not really who is there for me, but as you said earlier, who is there for us? Yes. So do the men have another shoulder? Because I mean, this comes back to family structure and stuff like this. The church, if you're part of the church, you know, it comes back down to all of these different persons around you. So that's, you can go ahead.
That's correct. And I know that male tend to have their groups or their friends, and not all men tend to want to divulge information because, you know, men are, some will, some won't. But I know that from my perspective, the male had his friends or his friends that he would go to. And, you know, I don't know, breaking down, never saw it. Never saw it. But if that happened, I assume he would have gone to his friends or his family members for his support from them. Yeah.
I want to say to Mr. Dunkley, almost anything in a marriage, anything that happens in a marriage, you need the support, both partners give to each other. And coming back to breastfeeding, I don't want y'all to think that I'm actually a breastfeeding advocate, because I'm not, I'm more into school nutrition. But breastfeeding takes a lot of support. And in my case, as you say, my husband doesn't like to get too involved in the emotional part of it. But it requires a lot in a household, and I heard Mrs. Tapper saying she has 2 children. The children need to be taken up, looked after. When you have a baby, the baby napping needs to change. The food needs to be prepared. The house still needs to be clean. And too often, the woman is left not only to deal with these emotional issues, but also with the physical issues of housekeeping and childcare. And it's a partnership when you're in a marriage. So, you go to counseling before you get married, I suppose. Well, I did, I had to, but you need to discuss these things to understand, is your partner going to go and wash up dishes? My husband says that washing the dishes relax him. And when I wash up dishes, because if you leave it in the sink too long and I go and wash it up because I can't take the flies. He said, but you're taking away my relaxation. He's so used to spreading the bed. Now the other morning I was, getting it done. And he said, no, you don't know how to do it right. Leave the bed alone. So, but this didn't happen at the beginning of marriage. You understand what I'm saying? It takes working together, and when you have issues like illnesses, right? Or, you have to look after extra children, then you find that the men have to jump around and help someone. Yes.
Mr. Dunkley, and this is me taking off the stethoscope now and answering your question. So this is not from a medical perspective. I lost my best friend on the 6th of September, 2016 from cancer. And she was a doctor, and she was just 38 when she died. And what I regret, no, this is my best friend. And what I regret was not giving her the support, because I never had that support. And I took her through the stages. I read the envelope that came with the diagnosis. And when I told her, she smiled. And I said, why are you smiling? And she said, because I'm going to give this the greatest fight ever. And throughout her journey, and yes, it is a journey. And it is sad to say it is not one that everyone will hurdle over. But for anybody who have a relative, a friend that is going over this enormous obstacle, one of the greatest things that they do need is support. I didn't give her that because I was afraid of being around her. Not because it was contagious. I didn't want to see the whole chemotherapy, my friend losing her hair, because I am human. Yes, I am doctor, but I'm human. And as you rightly said, who gives you that support? And we always forget that the one who is giving the support also needs to be coached up. They do need to be coached up. They need to say that, okay, I'm going to try give you the encouragement, because it's not easy seeing your loved one. It cannot, I can imagine, Mr. Tucker, your husband, your children, seeing you going through that metamorphosis, that evolution. It must have been heartbroken. And to this day, it is one of my greatest, it even brings tears to my eyes that I was not there for her on the 6th of September, 2016. Was her last calling. So the support factor is essential. It is essential.
Whoa, and
not only for the person, but those who are giving it.
My condolences, Dr. Daly. So you see, we agree. And at this time, I want you to, just hashtag early detection saves life in the chat. And I am trying to come up with something. I was listening to the detection side of it, the nutrition side of it, and I need something like, for example, like you said, detection plus nutrition with the exercising and stuff like that equals a survivor or equals, an overcomer. So I'm trying to work on it still. As I will finish by the time the presenters are through. So guys, it also comes back down to being supportive, as you heard Dr. Daly said, as you heard Mustafa said. It is a hard one. Trust me, I have experienced it, but also Dr. Daly, I can say I had an aunt who had cancer. She died last year. When the process was going, I did not want to see her in that state. I did not go. The last time when she was at UA, I went, and trust me, walking in, I was scared because it was a total transformation. Her teeth were, out space, the color change, her hair was gone, and when I was there and she said, pray for me, and I am telling the truth, I could not muster, not even our Father at that point, because I was still in shock, because it was a thing where she had the cancer and then it came back. So she had it and then everything went well. She was good for some years. And then when it came back, no, the pain and everything. So while I was in the hospital, while the family was there, I run out, leave everybody. And they were saying, you sure you are studying counseling? I said, this have nothing to do with counseling. Sometimes, as I saw Alex in the chat, that we are humans, and you said it, Dr. Daly, and the encourager needs some encouragement sometimes. You understand? So I totally agree with you, Dr. Daly. I think I've forgiven myself because others were there to support her, but I was not there. I used to call her every day. I'm not seeing her, but I'm talking to her. It shows that I'm there, but that love that I want to hug her, I could not do it, to be honest. All right. There was another question. I'm not sure if Ms. Tapa had anything else to add, because she's a woman with the experience here as it relates to the whole surviving.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if she has anything to say about that part of it before I ask the other question.
Yeah, what I would like to say though, is that breast cancer is not a death sentence. Yeah. If you're a strong person, and I would say and I consider myself to be a strong person, because going through it, it was just, I took it like one day at a time. I didn't let it get me down. At least I tried not to let it get me down, because there are the days when you're going to be down. But I don't know. I think my strength showed a different person, and so to speak. You express your aunt and the state that she was in and how she looked. But one day there was one time I went out on the road and I had in a port. I had to have in a port to get my treatment, because at one point my veins collapsed, couldn't take anything else, so I had to get a port. And somebody saw me and asked me, what is that? I said, it's a port. And I said, a port for what? I said, for cancer treatment. And the person said, you have cancer? I said, yes. She said, but you don't look like somebody who has cancer. And I said, so how somebody who look like cancer is supposed to look? So it is, everyone's experience is different. Everyone's journey is different. Everyone's outer appearance is different. So I can say I was one of the lucky ones, in quotation, so to speak, to have gone through it in a way where my appearance did not change. It didn't change. Well, my hair did. My hair went, because I had very long locks, that went. but I embraced the new look. I went ahead, I went out on the road without my hair, I flaunt the bald head. I mean, I accepted it and I just moved with it. And that's the other thing too. It is yours. And I'm gonna say, it may sound selfish, just accept it and work the path, walk the walk, just move with it, try and overcome it, and do whatever needs to be done to get through it, again, with the support that you need. It's not, as I said, it's not a death sentence. Some persons I know for sure, because I've had friends who have gone through it. From the moment they said, oh yes, it's cancer, it's like, oh, the end of the world. I can tell you it is not the end of the world. It is challenging, it is hard. And as I said, the support is what will help you go through it.
Could I just ask a question of you, Mrs. Tapper? How old were your children? How did this affect them and what was their role in the whole process?
My first daughter, she was 24 minus 10. She was 14. And the last one, she was 7. What is surprising though, when they saw me come home and I said to them, because they were, I mean, especially the big one, I said to her, Mommy is sick. And she said, okay. And I told her what is what. And she said, okay, Mommy, not to worry. The big one, the smaller one, she wasn't too keen on what was going on. But the big one, she handled it pretty well. She handled it pretty well. She would have assisted in ensuring that whatever meals, especially the day after chemo, you know, those first 2 days are the worst days, should ensure that whatever I need to in terms of nutrition, she would help prepare. But she handled it pretty well. Didn't affect her schooling any at all. Daddy was there to ensure that they go to school, things get done over the weekend, homework is done, all of that. So she handled it pretty well. The smaller one, no, she wasn't too keen on what was going on. But eventually, as years go by, I would, you know, show her stuff, show her my transformation, and, you know, explain to them what it is, how it came about, what are the things that they need to do to at least prevent it from happening, as well as to detect, you know, early detection, you know, just encourage them. But they handle it pretty well.
Well, I'm very glad that you had that support system. Mr. Alex Johnson, I saw your hand earlier. What's your question?
I almost forgot my question because the information is just so rich. But I remember Miss Topper's bald head. Like it's scary seeing her for the first time with a bald head, because I know this lady to have a whole heap of locks. Like Dr. Daly has locks, but Miss Topper had locks, like one whole head of hair. And when I saw her with a bald head, I was shocked. I was small at the time, but it still was traumatizing. So I understand what Denton is saying about, you know, that fear. I understand what Dr. Daly is saying about that fear. I've never had anybody, oh lie, my grandmother has cancer, but I've never had to deal with that metamorphosis of a person. But putting myself, quote unquote, I'm married. I'm not married, but just quote unquote, I'm married. And my wife begins to go through this. I don't know what I would do. And I'm here sitting down and I'm trying to create like a whole, you know, a whole idea around how would I cope with it? Because yes, I'm a health professional and I would understand all of the technicalities behind it and stuff. Like how Mrs. Thompson was saying that she read her own labs, etc. She knows. So yes, if my wife, I would know what to, you know, what dietary prescription to prescribe and all of that. But at the end of the day, I'm still a human, as Dr. Daly said. So, you know, that is something that we have to think about. I think support groups work because nobody can assist a person going through breast cancer than somebody else who have gone through breast cancer or is currently going through breast cancer. Because what you are doing when you don't understand what is happening, many times you make the situation worse. Because even though, yes, you're a health professional, you're a medical professional, whatever, and you know all of the anatomy and the technicalities and all of that, you still can say the wrong things. And sometimes instead of you being help to the person, you make the situation worse. Because you see the person and you say, Jesus Christ, how are you here gone? And Jamaican people can create hysteria and they're very, judgmental and stuff like that. And many times it makes it harsher. So, I'm really sitting here and I'm listening. But as a male, I don't have any fat in that area. My pectoralis majors are quite intact. So I don't have a lot of fat in that area. So for example, I am bathing. It should be easier for me as a male to palpate and to find, palpate means feel up my chest. And men don't like to say they have breasts because it sounds funny, but feel up my chest and feel if there is a lump. So I think for men, it would be an easier detection. And I know the risk of men getting breast cancer is way lower than women. But for a male who is obese, that person would have a large fat gathering in that area. So, I just believe for men, it's much easier to detect it. If a lump come up on my chest, God forbid, I burn that up in the name of Jesus. But if that should happen, I would see it looking in the mirror. I would see that, there is some abnormal shaping or, things like that. So I don't think men have it that bad as women, and I'm not being sexist or anything like that. But, I'm all here to support the ladies, hence my pink today and all of that. So,
There was a question in the chat that said, after detection, what next? And every time I get a result that indicates positive, for breast cancer, I always said to me, why me? Why this patient had to come to me? Why not somebody else? And as Alex rightly said, the better person is not a matter, because at this point, I can tell you all the patients that I've talked to, they all think never did. Then believe as them get the news, the frustration, the knowing is what is going to kill them. So Harriet, let's go. Good day, Mrs. Brown, have a seat. I have some news. And I'm using Chanel as a prime example. Forgive me, Chanel. All right. The results came back positive. Don't worry. Chanel, and I can tell you, 9 out of 10 start to cry. 9 out of 10 start to cry. After the detection, it is stepped up to a referral. And the referral is to a gynae. And what they tend to do is to order a biopsy. But not just the biopsy is then sent to the lab. But they have to do a chest x-ray. I'm sure they did a chest x-ray on Ms. Tapper.
Yes, they did.
Scan and abdominal ultrasound.
Oh yeah, they did everything.
People are just seeing dollar sign.
Yeah, oh yes, and die in the vein and die all. Yeah, oh yeah.
There is a word that they call metastasis. And that is a word that no cancer patients want to hear. What is metastasis? So the cancer can be just localized or just in the breast. And remember, guys, when you're palpating, when you're touching the breast, it's not just the breast that you must touch, it's under the armpit. Under the armpit. The breast muscle stretch not to the armpit. So we have to do these elaborate tests, not that we want to take your money, trust me. Because as I mentioned this word, metastasis, what does it mean? The cancer is now spreading. It has spread. Whoa. So where can it spread? I think about the L's, the lymph nodes, the liver, the lungs, the brain. They might have ordered a CT scan. It's all right. You did your biopsy, you did all the elaborate tests, the ultrasound, the chest X-ray, the CT scan, and it shows that nothing has spread. Yes, 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 yes. What is the next step? So the doctor said, well, Shaniel, guess what? We can do something they call a lumpectomy. Just simply take it out. We can do a radical mastectomy. Take off the whole entire breast. We tend to put emphasis on counseling. Most times, I can tell you, all the times, we tend to steer the patient in what is not, because we're looking beyond cosmetic. Because some women can, as Ms. Thompson said, did you know that Angelina Jolie took off both of her breasts? Can anybody realize that, wow, she doesn't have a breast? So this is where we have to look beyond the cosmetic of all, because this is now we need to save Shaniel's life. So Shaniel opted on doing a mastectomy. So we took off the entire breast. What then? Chemotherapy. And this is, I can't imagine what a patient can go through. That's why I said people like Ms. Taco, we need to have at the forefront. I remember giving chemo and some droplets dropped on my skin.
Yeah.
And it burned like, now you imagine, and this is not, it's not a matter of driving fear or hesitance. This is where we are going to do, and I use the word we to save life. So you go through the chemotherapy, and the chemotherapy is not just a one push, one drug, and that is it. You have to go through a cycle. Some people have to go through 48 cycles. All right, you think you do the chemotherapy, and that is it. We have to may step it up to radiotherapy. But doc, what is the difference between chemotherapy and radiotherapy? So you know that chemotherapy is the introduction of drugs into the system via the veins. Radiotherapy is me giving you radiation at a specific point. So I am giving you large amount of radiation to eliminate that abnormal growth. All right, so Shaniel, you did your chemotherapy, you did your radiotherapy, what next? And before we even start all of this, do you know one of the first persons we call before we start all of this? Somebody can just throw it again.
The nutritionist or dietitian.
I can tell you guys are we refer, because this is where we have to optimize the patient for the fight of their life. The nutritionist is the one that will let, because your nutrition has a lot to play. It does have a lot to play because chemotherapy is weakening your entire system. It's a systemic drug that we are giving you. We are literally going to mash you down to build you up. And the only thing that can let you overcome that couple days, months that of pure nauseating, bad feeling is that nutritional state. Because we expect you're going to have a lot of vomiting, we expect you to have a lot of nausea, we expect. So we put emphasis on you guys to say, guess what? I have a patient that I want you to optimize them. And this is done throughout the therapy. So you have done.
I want to just interject here, in terms of the nutrition that Dr. Daly is talking about, the nutrition. And we spoke about the quality and the quantity of the diet. But here now we're looking at not just the nutrients, but actually the foods you're going to eat, how you're going to prepare these foods. Because remember, the very foods that you need to optimize your nutrition You don't feel to eat them, you feel too sick, and as you say, you're vomiting it up. You understand? So, but I mean, that has moved away from the early stages. But nutrition will change as you go along the whole process. You know, so we start at prevention, and then we look at early treatment, and then you're going to look at later treatment when you actually taking the chemotherapy and the radiotherapy, so to speak, because as she says, your body is broken down, you're too weak, you're nauseated, your taste affected, your smell affected, you know, and food is the last thing you want to see or hear about, but that is the very thing that is going to optimize your strength. Mm-hmm.
So after we have completed, thank you, Miss Thompson. After you've completed your chemotherapy and possible radiation, and we do back our scan, guess what? You're cancer-free, Chanel. But do you think your journey ends there? No, because remember, the chance of recurrence is high. So don't believe, sure, it's not like a chicken pox. If I want to get it one time, that is it. No, we have to have you under a microscope. You have to be constantly, from once, I believe you have to do your mammogram and your pap smear every year, because recurrency, it's much higher. You think you end there. Do you realize I said it is a journey, but one that you can survive? If you do have daughters, remember they said the golden rule is to start your mammogram at age 40. But if the mother is detected of breast cancer, the child has to start before doing their mammogram, before they reach 40. Yeah. So you can't wait, okay, because there is a genetic factor. So everything, you have, so survivors, not even survivors, we have to remind our loved ones that you can't go by the standard. At age 40, where you're going to do your routine, your first liners have to start detecting the necessary investigation before.
Thank you so much, Dr. Day. I don't know, my mind is so stimulated right now. But there's a comment in the chat from Latoya Jones. So she said, I was diagnosed in 2002. I was 19 years old. Life with cancer can be really hard. The cancer spread all over her body. Latoya, I'm not sure if you have anything else you'd like to say. Before I address Stephanie Allen, Latoya, I'm not sure if there's anything else you want to say. You can type it or you can just unmute and speak.
I'm sorry to push ahead. I remember when Alex asked me to do this, and to be honest, I can't say no to Alex. I was given the opportunity to be responsible for the cancer registry for St. Catherine. So I have to audit all cancer patients for St. Catherine. And I can tell you, every Thursday that I leave the hospital, I am in tears. And it's tears of joy and sometimes tears of pain. But I can tell you, the ones that do survive, because I'm walking through these dockets from detection and sometimes to death. But out of the thousands of dockets that I've audited, the ones who survive, guys, I'm putting emphasis on this, the ones who survive is the ones that find it early. They took it upon themselves and went out. There's nobody forcing. They said, you know what, this is something that I need to do. I have seen young ladies going through their dockets as young as 20s, in their 30s, that has this deadly disease. The reality is that there is no number that we can say, you or you. There is no number. The only thing that we can do, and the person says, money, money, money. Yes. It does cost, and there's always going to be this but. Going through the dockets, there are persons who are doctors, street vendors. And when I go through the docket, there was never a time that these results, these tests that were asked for, they weren't given. They didn't receive. It is something that if you can't pay for it, it will be done. The government have put measures in place that you will get a CT scan. It's not you may get a CT scan, you will get a CT scan. And if the scan is delayed, the doctors don't wait to see if it has spread. I don't want to be barbaric, but as I said, imagine, I'm just gonna give you an idea. Imagine you felt a lump in your breast, the size of a guinea. Between 44 to 188 days, it varies. That lump will double in size. Some people say within 44 days, that's just a little over a month, that guinea will become the size of it's double within a month. It varies with a lot of clauses. But I'm happy to say from a clinician perspective in auditing the dockets, I'm sure, I don't know where Ms. Tapper got her followed up care, but I can speak for the St. Catherine branch. Within few weeks of getting your result, you will do your biopsy. Within a month, you will do, if you need a mastectomy, you will get the mastectomy. If you need radiation, within weeks, it will be given. I can testify this, as I said, I've audited the dockets, and it is something that I commend the Ministry of Health and Wellness, that they are putting things in place. It is just for us women, not to educate ourselves, but when getting that knowledge is most and imparted on others. We have too many myths out there. If I do mammogram, I'm not gonna get cancer. If somebody hit me on my breast, I'm going to get cancer. If my boyfriend sucked my breast too much, I'm going to get cancer. And it is no fault of their own why they are not having this educational tool to work with. So forums like this, not everybody has the opportunity to seek or get the opportunity of having medical aid. So when one know, one tell the other, you can imagine how beautiful this world will look.
Yes. Oh yes. I mean, I had the opportunity to go private with mine, in that I didn't wait until they were able, they tested, they did the biopsy, saw my doctor, and he said, okay, here goes. These are your options. We didn't wait because I didn't plan on waiting. He said, here are your options. One, if it's ER, we do a full hysterectomy. If not,
mastectomy.
Is a mastectomy. One was the option to do hysterectomy, depending. And then onto the breast, he said that we can either remove the lump, we can either do a full mastectomy, or we can do a skin sparing mastectomy, which is the one that I hope to do. He said that, I said that, okay, what are the chances of it coming back if I should remove the lump? He said, well, the chances it's possible to come back in the same breast. My response to him was that, here goes. I have no intention of looking back at this breast. So here goes. Mastectomy it is. If it comes back, it has to be in the other breast. So he said, okay. And we went ahead with our surgery. Before I even got back the result from, I'm not sure what that department called, that looks at the lymph nodes and to determine if it's HER or ER positive, we started the chemo. We started our chemo. And then when the results came back, that is now where I had now switched on doing the Herceptin. So I had no intention of waiting. We just went into it, made my decision, and it was a go for me. It was a go for me, but not everyone has the opportunity to approach it like how I did. And I'm glad that the government has stepped in and has put things in place for persons who don't have that opportunity.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Tapper. Just to change the atmosphere a little bit, because I can feel some, a little tension. Some persons are probably feeling, wondering. Get your phones at this time. Have a digital credit given away at this time. Get your phones. Let me see the type fasters. I'm going once. All right, and you can just indicate in the chat.
Wait, hold on. I see Miss Thompson getting your phone.
No. Actually, I'm about to ask you, may I leave now?
Okay.
Sorry about that. No. So it's okay if I leave, right?
Yes, Mrs. Thompson, it was
Okay.
our pleasure to have you here this evening. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
I enjoyed the discussions. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Thompson. All right, so yes, man, the executive can participate in this one because I don't think one of the exec will get it, but let's go. All right, so it's Digicel, and I'll go once with the number. All right. So it is 430-16-54-16-65-77. All right, let me see who get that one. I know somebody must get it, man. Even one person must get it.
Anybody got that? Anybody got it?
Can somebody confirm?
Then I'm gonna think nobody get it now.
All right, going again. 403-16-54-16-65-77.
Not even Flash could have gotten that.
All right.
One more time, please. One more time.
430-16-54-16-65-77.
No, you just say it too slow.
Somebody must.
Somebody must get it now, man. Who get it? Anybody got it? You can raise your hand if you don't want to. Stephanie said she thinks she got it.
All right, congratulations.
Yeah.
You don't want to play with some credit. All right, congratulations to you. Somebody begs, man. Yeah, what did it say? Well, give God thanks. Somebody pay your loan. Praise God. All right. All right. So we are good with that. All right, Shani, do you have any questions so we can wrap this up as quick as possible?
I just have one question for another credit giveaway.
Okay.
I think this one is pretty easy. What is the screening test that can be used to detect breast cancer? What's the name of it? Anybody can participate. First one to send it in the chat. Screening test to detect breast cancer. Right faster. Oh, Stephanie.
Again?
Okay, but Stephanie, maybe I'll give it to Barian because maybe I'll get one to Barian because you just get one little credit. So Barian, please, you can text either myself or Denton and let us know the phone carrier, the brand, the digital or flow is okay. So I don't want to say thank you. You have something to say, Denton?
I thought it was another giveaway. Sorry.
Oh, you have another question?
Yes, I do.
Okay, go ahead.
So who can tell me the correct name of our presenter that just left? The correct name for presenter. All those who are participating. This one, executive, no executive is a part of this one, right? So I need somebody who was
Keisha
Mari. Say it, or I have to type it.
Oh, hush them.
Never mind.
Sorry, Keisha, Maurice just sent it. Lishay, you have something to say? Lishay?
Oh, I wanted to answer.
Oh.
So earlier, before I hand over back to Shaniel, I said that I would have come up with a little equation for you, and this is it. So it is early detection plus nutrition equals a chance to fight. All right. So coming from the whole forum this afternoon, I want you to somebody type it in the chat. Early detection plus nutrition. I remember that nutrition includes the exercising and the dieting and stuff like that, as Miss Thompson was speaking about earlier, equals a chance to fight. And you know that if you are a fighter like Miss Tapper, then you'll become who can tell me what you will become? A survivor. Congratulations, Dr. Bailey, you're a bright student this afternoon. All right, back to our host, Shaniel.
Okay, so I don't know about anybody else, but I was writing. I learned a lot this evening, and I really wish we could continue. But I would just like to say thank you to everybody who came out tonight. We had a wonderful discussion. I am sure without even asking many of our questions were answered. I learned a lot tonight, especially about the whole nutrition aspect, and also the detection and how to the treatment, the after treatment after it has been diagnosed. I'm gonna ask Mr. Alex Johnson to just come and say a formal thank you to our panelists.
Oh my God, wow. What a lovely evening. I don't know where to start because wow. So we would have gone through so many different aspects, and I know even if you're not a health professional or a medical professional, you would have understood everything because it was crystal clear. I am really happy that we were able to host this forum this evening, first of all, because I don't think breast cancer, even though it is out there in the public, it is this personal, where you get so many different aspects of it, and you hear it from so many different point of views. And I think today was the best day to have this forum where a lot of you would have been at home, you wouldn't have any worries with work and stuff like that. Well, maybe not for us healthcare professionals because we work every day, including holidays, but thank God Dr. Daly is on vacation. So we have her fully here. I really thank our panelists this evening. Dr. Natalie Daly, thank you. Thanks to Mrs. Topper. Mrs. Topper know me from here, itsy bitsy. So, it's really happy to have her here sharing with us. And this takes a lot out of her because I know people who have survived cancer and cannot talk about it without screaming out the place. So, to have her here this evening talking about it like it's any other part of her life shows that she's a strong woman. And I am really appreciative, Ms. Topper, for your sharing. And we thank Mrs. Thompson, nutritionist Thompson, who was here. Mrs. Thompson is a lady of a lot of knowledge, and she was able to link it with even her personal life. And everybody here, our presenters here today, was down to earth. We didn't have anybody speaking over our heads, so we all understood what we needed to. So I thank you, three strong, powerful ladies, and it shows that women rock. So I support that. I support women on all angles, and this evening shows that women are really strong with fighting this devil of breast cancer. Then I want to thank our host, the beautiful lady in pink, dark lady in pink over there. Shaniel should wear pink more often. It fits you. Miss Shaniel Brown, she did an excellent job this evening. Can we just unmute and give her a round of applause? Give her a round of applause. She did a great job We thank you, and she's from UTANS. Can all the UTANS people in the house make some noise? Where are you, UTANS? Yes, that is your future nutritionists and dietitians out there, all ready to take on the world. And I just want to thank the smart counselor man over there, Mr. Denton Dunkley, who led us alongside with Lady Brown in this lovely session. Can we give him a big round of applause? And all the St. Catherine Youth, the Parish Youth Council people, can you make some noise for Mr. Denton Dunkley? I'm not hearing you. We allow you to unmute. I know you're on foreign grounds, but you know you're able to make some noise. Come on, people. All right, can the UTANS people show some love for Mr. Denton Dunkley? Come on, UTANS. Show him some love. Yes. Yes, so I realize maybe the St. Catherine people eating their dinner, but you know, we give God thanks for
We're still there, man. We're still there.
Okay, all right. President Balfour is creating some noise for his treasurer. So we thank you all for tuning in. This video will be posted on YouTube. So if you want to rewatch, you are free to do so. We give God thanks for a lovely evening. And I just want to remind you, early detection saves lives. This is not the last of our week of activity. You can check us tomorrow on Instagram. You can go on our Instagram page, UTANS Students. On Instagram, we'll be going live. And on Wednesday, we will be having other activities. Also, you can join our panelists at the Garden Pen Apostolic Church on Zoom. Myself, Chanel Brown, and Lady Stevens will be over there doing another panel discussion. We are all about education, health promotion, and health education. So that's it for me. I'll allow President Balfour to just give his closing remarks, and then we'll leave with some music. President Balfour.
Yes, sir. Go again, please. I didn't hear that.
He's just asking for any final remarks.
Oh, just want to say thank you guys for coming out. And indeed, it was a good session. And I hope to, to do another session again. All right. Thank you, doctors and Ms. Tupper. All the best.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It was a pleasure.
Myself and Chanel, we want to thank you so much again. So we're adding the thank you on what Alex just said again. And to Dr. Daly, a wonderful woman. It's the first time meeting Dr. Daly and Miss Tupper. And I must say, Miss Tupper, you are indeed a strong woman. You know, you are a strong woman. And I thank you today for your obedience and the sacrifice and the time that you took, just to come and share with us and like, and to everybody that joined, thank you so much. Remember, early detection
plus nutrition.
Plus nutrition equals.
That's right.
Right.
Early detection
plus nutrition
equals
a chance
to
fight.
Remember that when you fight, you can be a survivor.
That's right.
So true.
Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you so much, everybody, again, and have yourself a wonderful evening. And UTANS will continue their proceedings this week. All right.
Thank you, guys.
Hand over to the music, man.
All right, selector, give us some.
But I'm stronger. You thought that I'd be broke without you, but I'm richer. You thought that I'd be sad without you. I love harder. Thought I wouldn't grow without you. Now I'm survivor. Thought I couldn't breathe without you. I'm inhaling. You thought I couldn't see without you. Perfect.
Hi, guys.
Thought I couldn't last without you, but I'm lasting. You thought that I would die without you, but I'm living. Thought that I would fail without you, but I'm on top. Thought it would be over by now, but it won't stop. Thought that I would self-destruct, but I'm still here. Even in my years to come, I'm still gonna be here. I'm a survivor. I'm not gonna give up. I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna work harder. Yeah. I'm gonna make it. I'm a survivor. Keep on surviving. Yeah. I'm not gonna give up. I'm not gonna stop. I'm not gonna work hard. I'm gonna work hard. I'm gonna make it. I will survive. I will survive. Yeah. I'm wishing you the best. Pray that you are blessed. Much success, no stress, and lots of happiness. I'm better than that. I'm not gonna blast you on the radio. I'm better than that. I'm not gonna lie to you and your family. I'm better than that. I'm not gonna hate on you in the magazine. I'm better than that. I'm not gonna compromise my Christianity. I'm better than that. You know I'm not gonna diss you on the internet. Cause my mama taught me better than that. I'm a survivor. I'm not gonna give up. I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna work.
Natural beauty, you know. Yeah. No,
What's up now? What's up now? Go on, let's again.
someone shy.
All right.
I see your eyes.
Yes, Miss Brown.
Natural beauty, you know.
Yeah, shout out to all of the natural beauty ladies.
No, I've never been someone shy until I seen your eyes. Still I had to try, yeah. Oh yes, let me get my words right and then approach you. Woman, I'll treat you like a man is supposed to. You'll never have to cry, no. I know everyone can relate to when they find a special someone. And she's royal, yeah, so royal. Want her in my life. I never knew anyone so one of a kind. No, the way she moves to her own beat, she has the qualities of a queen. She's a queen. Ooh, ooh, what a natural beauty. No need no makeup to be a cutie. She's a queen.
All the natural ladies in the building, make some noise.
And when they ask what a good woman's made of, she's not afraid and ashamed of who she is. She's royal, yeah, so royal. And I need her in my life. I never knew anyone so one of a kind until the night that I seen your eyes. My queen, so supreme. Whoa, whoa, why? Yes, I am. Ooh, I met a girl this morning. She was love at first sight. Ooh, I met a girl this morning.
Rock and steady.
She was beauty to my eyes. I asked her where she from. She tell me on the topics. She asked me what's my name. I tell her I am. Hey! I said, girl, tell me what's your name. And she tell me that her name is Jamaica. And I said, smile.
Girl, all the beautiful ladies, smile, no man.
For me, Jamaica. And I said, smile. Girl, smile.
Yes, son, I said, smile.
Smile for me, Jamaica. And never you cry. Here am I. Yeah, I'm here for you, Jamaica. Dry your eyes. Girl, smile. Smile for me, Jamaica. Lord, hey, she have a rich history. A beautiful woman with the sweetest kiss. Beautiful sunrise and an evening kiss of a nice sunset on the evening season. But she tell me say she tired
Tired of the exploit and the liars. She give them reggae, give them beaches, give them flowers and the ferns. All she got is abuse in return. But I say, don't you worry yourself, mama. Hey, Chronix is here to your help, mama. Ooh, I said, no worry yourself. One thing me I better do for me.
Just smile. Smile to the adversity.
Smile for me, Jamaica.
Smile through the semester.
Hey, smile for me, Jamaica. Never you cry.
Never you cry. Here am I.
I'm here for you, Jamaica. What must I try? Oh my. That she asks me. And this how when me say, a sweet, sweet Chronix, you figure them, give them. The one drop beat pan a rhythm. Are you give them back with that different step?
Yes, Shaniel, show off your beautiful smile. Getting fans in the
Chris all over the world. Yeah, I'm so proud of him. Hold on.
Without my mama, mommy, me love you. There's nothing I'd put above you. No house, no girl, nor no car. Stand firm in my life, nothing about you. From a barn, me and you apart. Mommy, I'm a princess. Mommy, I'm a dancer. In my life, a girl, I feel understand. Special dedication to the big woman. From your love, your mama, make me see your hand. So it's a blank for your mama, lighter for your mama. Selector, you better pull up the one you for your mama. Proud of your mama, sing loud for your mama. I make you know you're happy, she bring you come here. From your heart, tell me sing this one. From your love, your mama, like this man. There's no one like my mama, no. Mama never had it easy at times. Sometimes she cried.
Big up to all the mothers.
I don't know how we survive. We held on cause of mama's teachings. And in the scripture she placed her beliefs in. Real thing, if I never mama, I wouldn't believe it. So go a blank for your mama, lighter for your mama.
Lighter for your
mama. You better pull up the one you for your mama. Proud of your mama, sing loud for your mama. I make you know you're happy, she bring you come here. From your heart, tell me sing this one. From your love, your mama like this man. There's no one like your mama, no.
Never get a love like yours, mommy. G-Wing, never get a love like yours, mommy. Well, alright. She cook my food, that make me stronger. I gotta testify. Mommy, I love you, gave me heart. Whoa, what's the charge? She said no cause. She said, I love you, thank you, mama. Whoa, thank you, mama. I won't break your heart, make you proud, I swear to God. Thank you, mama. Whoa, thank you, mama. I won't break your heart, make you proud, I swear to God. If you love your mommy, ooh, ooh, never get a love like yours. Ooh, ooh, never get a love like yours, mommy. G-Wing, never get a love like yours, mommy. Well, alright. She told me, son, stay out of badness. Jailhouse not nice. I never listened to you when I paid the price. I sacrificed. I said, what's the cost?
Every out African sing a song for them mama, you know?
Big up to the mothers.
Yeah. Mama, me never ever,
all of the
ever,
19
ever,
mother
ever
names.
left you out.
Yeah.
Me never left you in the boardhouse, panic gully, me take you out. You proud of your sons, and me proud of myself. You teach me to pray over myself. So me no care who no like me. Them is not God Almighty. Me come for
yeah, them are not God.
Take me lightly. Not a demon.
They no matter who no like you. God love you.
Hey, follow me now, where see you now.
Hey. Hey, pull up, selector, pull up that one, yeah.
See how upset her?
Like
Pull up.
Pull up. Like
Hey, follow me now, I see you now. Hey, upset her.
Just rock with that one, yeah. Just rock your shoulder. 1, 2, 1, 2.
I'm a winner. You know the
Yeah.
I'm a winner.
I'm winning. Anybody winning? Just make some noise in the chat.
Oh, we're winning right now, you winning. Say we're winning right now. Me forget a trophy to what me living right now. Cause I'm winning right now, yeah. And I'm chilling right now. Oh, we're winning right now.
If you're winning this semester, just make some noise in the chat.
Cause we're winning right now, yeah. I'm winning. I'm winning.
Yes, Lishay, Denton, I see you winning this semester. Woo! Right through.
Hey, watch on up.
Yes,
hey,
Abby.
I'm a walking W. Learn from the L's. Turn them in a medal in a trophy and bells. Every day you see we with them on the next level.
Yes, world record we make a UTANDS.
It's all about progress, cause we have to excel and watch them. Look at
that.
Another knockout for the ring the next spell. I'm about to send my haters a card to get well, cause I'm sick of it. I'm so sick of it. But that's the whole gist of it. I hate in on the beauty when winning and we have it, cause I'm winning. I'm winning.
I'm winning.
All right, Janelle, up.
Well, I say give thanks to the obstacles in our way because the yearnings teach if we jump and you wanna. If everything did smooth every day, we wouldn't know we could overcome. Cause if you don't kill me, I know it's gonna build me.
Can send your song selection in the chat. But ensure that it's not appropriate and we not play it.
So if you don't try nothing, then you never will fail. But you surely won't get anything done. So you me know, just do your thing and learn from your mistakes. Experience teaches wisdom and you see if you don't kill me. I know it's gonna build me. Oh yes, gonna make me stronger. Hey, watch out now. Hey, see ya now. You see the hard work and the struggle and the hustle.
Like the caterpillar that becomes a butterfly.
With wings inside my mind to set me free. I know I've got vision more than my eyes can see. And I know I rule my destiny. Son of man.
So to the people who read your destiny.
No, you can never change my mind. I know if caterpillars can fly, so can I.
So can you.
I know if caterpillars can fly.
If caterpillar can fly, what is happening?
Hey, watch out now. This a for every caterpillar member say you can't fly. Don't watch no mosquito or no sunfly. Don't sit down and complain. Get up and try. Say the word, the whole universe comply. Aye. Work on your goals and build them. Take time and sharpen your skills them. And your dreams don't make no one kill them. Them soon see
don't let nobody do that dream.
No matter how hard you try, there's a fact they can't deny. If caterpillars can fly,
So can I.
so can I. Some days I feel like the world is on my shoulder and I just can't go on. When I'm fading, I check my playlist, and there's a song that I play, and the moment I hear it, I feel I'm the greatest. I've got a song that makes me feel a song that makes me feel like
Seems like yesterday I was in 5th grade, passing notes in class, football during recess, rolling in the grass.
Look at us
Now
now.
I'm taking extras. I got all these exams. I'm doing dishes and taking out the trash. You see, now I'm getting older, still not a grown up. Who knew I'd be growing up so fast? Yesterday is in the past, yeah, there's no going back.
No going back,
I'd be
guys.
growing up so fast.
That day.
Now I got a strong foundation, thanks to mom and dad. Real appreciation for the things I never had. Now I got these girls' attention, deep voice and some abs.
Oh, yeah,
Who knew I'd be growing up so fast? But now I'm getting older, still not a grown up. Who knew I'd be growing up so fast? Yesterday is in the past.
How old are you
today? Who knew I'd be growing
Someone
up
with
so
come on for calendar.
Now I'm looking in the mirror and I'm trying to understand the man I see. And all the things I learned before will help me navigate this road in front of me. But it seems like yesterday I was in 5th grade, cracking jokes in class, football during recess, rolling in the grass. But now I'm taking extras, I got all these exams. I'm doing dishes, taking out the trash.
Hurry up! You guys better get ready to go. Yes, Benson, come with the tambourine. All the apostles in the building. Drop for your hat and the green book. Come, Benson, come the tambourine. You better hurry up, hurry up. Get ready. You wanna hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. Give your heart to Jesus, young people. You will wash your sins away. Don't wait until it is late. Better hurry up. Get ready to go. Praise break. Rock my hey. You can't stop that one. You have to get up and rock. You have to get up and rock, man. Lead me like that. Pull and buy your picture. Oh, no, it's if I say
So now we're in the night segment. You need to get your managed water.
Get your curry goat and your managed water.
I know the Lord is my shepherd.
Are we ready to bury cancer tonight?
Yeah, we're very cancer. It's the white rum for me. Christian, will up higher GPA. And people, rock your soul, rock your body.
Won't you rock my soul?
Daniel, turn on the camera, man.
Rock, rock, rock. Won't you rock my soul? Come on. Rock my soul. In the who's my baby? Rock my soul. Rock my soul. Who's my baby? Yeah. Oh, won't you rock my soul? Rock my soul. Rock somebody.
My God in him.
And we're taking it down now with this one.
If you suffer from high blood pressure, high blood sugar.
Not that one.
I will say of the Lord.
Yes, come on, somebody. Just in your space, just begin to worship. Hallelujah.
Master God.
Master God. He's appeared.
God in the morning.
God in the Master, Sister Pat, one of them. Master God is still God.
John, we can't follow it today.
God, my God. Hey, if you can't stop that one, you know, rock your foot.
God in the morning.
Hey, Master God. Mighty God is he.
Master God, Master God, God in the morning,
God in
the evening.
Yes. Mighty God is he.
Master God,
Oh, my God. Ah, my God.
God in the morning.
Nice having you, Mr. Balfour. Go with Jesus.